If you're broke or struggling financially, follow these steps to get yourself out of that bad financial situation and let 2024 be your year of turnaround. Hi, my name is Yolanda. I'm a wealth advisor, and it is my goal on this platform to give you easy, actionable tips, content, and strategies that you can use to manage money well, to live abundantly, and to build generational wealth. And now I know things are hard in South Africa. Inflation is high, although they're reporting like a 5.5%. For me, it feels like it's in double digits because the price of goods and services haven't really come down. It's just the numbers that are changing on the paper. Interest rates are high. We know that. We're paying that on our credit cards, our bonds, our cars. So it's a difficult financial situation because our salaries are not even keeping up with these various increases that are happening. So in today's video, I'm going to give you a pathway that you can follow in order for 2024 to be your year of financial turnaround. Before I actually give you those steps, there's a couple of things that you need to make sure that you succeed with your finances. And the first thing you need is you need to own your situation. Now, I know government makes a big impact on your financial situation. The economy locally in South Africa and outside does impact your financial situation as well. So there's so many variables that impact you as an individual, but essentially you pay the price, you feel the pain, and it's only you that can take action for yourself, not your neighbor or anybody else. It's only you can make those decisions for yourself. And the first step to that turnaround is taking accountability. All right, you can't blame the government here. All right, we know they're a big part of it, but you need to realize your situation is your own and you need to own your situation. All right, you made mistakes in the past, own it. You made bad decisions in the past, own it. You can't pass everything off to the government. Now, I know there are people watching this, and I know we have a horrid history in South Africa, a history of discrimination that has led to many of us being in certain categories of financial horror and making it difficult because of those past hurts and the past discrimination, making it difficult to get out of that financial situation. But if that pain from the past, if you're carrying that pain must be your motivation to get you out of your situation, your bad situation. That pain are lessons for the future. That pain and the stories of that pain must be told to your future generations to know the struggle of your family, of yourself, so the future generations appreciate the sacrifices you've made to try and get them out. That pain must motivate you to do better. Now, if that pain is bringing you bitterness, and that bitterness is causing you to hate others, hate a different set of people, you are only hurting yourself. You're draining your own mental and emotional energy. That mental and emotional energy could be used to getting yourself out of the situation. Energy can be used to give you peace. But instead, this bitterness is eating away at you. This bitterness is taking your time. You're losing productivity because of it. That pain is allowing you to stew in self-pity and give you this woe is me attitude. My parents were in this situation. My grandparents were in this situation. I'm going to be in this situation. That attitude is not going to take you anywhere if you're waiting for government to bail you out. Free house, free education, free healthcare, free water, free electricity. If you're waiting for all of those things, a life of abundance is not for you. So you can just turn off this video. But if you are somebody who is using that pain as a motivation, if you won't let the past, although it may have carved the circumstances you're in now, you won't be identified by those past hurts. Keep on watching. I'm going to give you a few tips on how you can get out of the situation. To be living a life of abundance, there's certain things that you need in place. And those are not things you can measure like R1 million. R1 million will sort of solve all your problems, but there are other intangibles that you need to have. Things that cannot be measured in rands or time or anything like that. It's things like your drive, your passion, your pain, that you channel your pain correctly, your determination, your consistency, your discipline. Those are all the prerequisites to living a life of abundance. And you can't have those things if bitterness is consuming you. Imagine if government gave every South African R1 million today. You know what will happen? Firstly, inflation would go through the roof because there was unequal exchange or no exchange in value. Everybody got free money. All right. The price of goods and services would skyrocket. The people with drive, with skills, with motivation, in a year's time, they will have a lot more than that R1 million. But the people with no skills, no ambition, no drive, no motivation, they're going to likely end up with nothing. So money doesn't solve problems here. It's those intangibles, those things that you can't feel, your drive, your motivation, your discipline. Those are the things that's going to lead you to living a life of abundance. So if you're broke right now, the past could be a big part of why you are in a bad place. But for many folks, it's because you're earning money, but you're just not managing money. And this, by earning money, I mean, you could be earning 100,000 Rand and spending 98. You're in a horrible place, because I have clients earning 20, 30,000 Rand a month, living off a fraction of that, living off 50, 60%, and are living in far more abundance than somebody earning 100K, right? It boils down to your money management here. Okay, you might have gotten yourself in a bad situation that has gotten you into this financial hole. You're borrowing, you're not managing your money, or essentially you have no income. And for me, I find it very hard to believe. And I know there's people going to be typing up in the comments, are you speaking from a place of privilege? But essentially, we're all privileged, right? We have technology now. You are watching this video somewhere, I don't know where. You're either in South Africa or you're not in South Africa. But it's the easiest time in the world to make money. Throughout the history of mankind, now is the time. So you are in a place of privilege compared to those 50 years ago, 100 years ago, because you have technology on your side and you should be using it correctly. If you're getting value from this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It basically helps me reach more people like you that need this kind of content. Financial literacy from a South African perspective. All right, so these are the steps that you're looking for to be in a place of turnaround. This is essentially various elements of my Money 101 course. Okay, if you want the Money 101 course, click the link where you're watching this video, and you will get step-by-step guides, video instructions, downloadable tools that will help you improve your money game. All right, but if you don't have the funds to spend, or you just don't want to spend the money and buy my course, that's okay. I'm gonna give you elements, tangible elements that you can work with and implement today. All right, so that first step to turn around is, one, you need immediate income. Okay, you need short-term money. But as a South African, I don't know, I have a problem, or South Africans have a problem understanding that. Not so much I have a problem explaining it. But there's a difference between job and work. But so many South Africans are looking for jobs when there's so much work to do and people are not ready for the work. There's this intersection in Durban, Sparks Road, Brickfield Road intersection. You can buy anything at this intersection. And during the late summer, you get a fruit. I don't know if you have it in your part of the country, but in Durban it's called Medonis. It's a nice purple fruit. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a big grape with a seed. And Medonis grow on big trees. I mean, huge trees, maybe 10, 15 meter trees that you got to go climb. And you got to pick the Medoni, because once it drops from that high fall, it damages. Very delicate fruit. So at this intersection is where you get these Medonis and a few other points in Durban. You'll never get them in the store. This is 100% Durban fruit. And we have to pass this intersection on the way to church every Sunday. And my daughter, she was around 5 or 6 years old at the time. And I asked her, hey, you guys want Medonis? Once we pass here, you can only get it next week. And she wanted to know, where do you get these Medonis and why we can't buy it in the store? I'm like, no, these grow wild in Durban all around. The climate is great. And you got to climb up these trees really high. So these guys, they go climb the trees and they put it in packets and they sell it here. And we can buy it from them. Then that is why you don't get them in the stores. They're not farmed or anything. They just grow wild. Then she asked me to take her to go and buy some Medonis. Like, why do you want to do that? You are still small. Imagine if you fall from the tree, you're going to get hurt just for the one Medoni. Let's just pay the guy 20 Rand and take a bag. And then there was silence in the car. And then she goes, Mommy, if there are so many poor people in South Africa, why don't more people pick Medonis? And from that point, I always realized, South Africans, they're looking for a job and they're not looking for work. Because there are many of us that need products, we need services. But there are a lot of people that are looking for jobs. They just want to go, stand somewhere, put their body in a place of work, not actually get work done or not be 100% productive that they can be, and get that salary at the end of the month. So if you are somebody that has never noticed the distinction between work and a job before, I hope this inspires you to explore a little bit more. Think a little bit more about what a job is and what work is. Differentiate from it and go do the work and forget about a job. You notice how they form it as a job crisis, unemployment crisis. For me, it's a work crisis, because we have a lot of work to be done in our country, yet not many people are ready to do the work, yet there's so many people looking for a job. And for me, as an entrepreneur, a national entrepreneur, I see opportunity when other people don't see opportunity. I don't know why. So I was reading the statistics. We are at what? 34% unemployment rate in South Africa. For me, that's not a crisis, right? The real crisis is on the entrepreneurial side, that people can't recognize that there's work to be done and organize and find solutions for people. Like for me, I like Madonis. I like to buy Madonis from down the street. I don't want to be driving all the way to church to get Madonis. Others don't recognize that. And so many gaps. Foreigners come in, illegal foreigners come in, fill a lot of those gaps. All right, I'm going to leave it there. But pause and think about that, the difference between work and a job. And know that the real crisis in our country is not an unemployment crisis. It's an entrepreneurial crisis. We are nowhere near the entrepreneurial rates of our peers. India, Argentina, Brazil, they have higher rates of entrepreneurial activity than us. Okay, that's really something to reflect on as South Africans. All right, so it's job and work. Get either or. I would prefer you look for work rather than look for a job. Because when you look for work, you're finding solutions and you're meeting people's needs. And that is what people will pay you for, not so much for a job. Next thing, you can start a side hustle. Okay, there are a lot of gaps in the market. And a recent survey, as of October 2023, over 1,400 businesses had closed down. The majority of those businesses were in financing, insurance, real estate. Okay, big gaps, easy entry into those markets, but sustainability is very much a challenge. And when I see statistics like that, I see opportunity for my financial services businesses. Okay, those businesses are closing. They had clients. Those clients need to be serviced. I need to go find those clients. Okay, I need to go fill that gap. So you need to find gaps in society that you can fill. And in my experience in business, I focus on solutions and don't focus on money. And since I'm chasing solutions for my client, automatically money follows behind because people are willing to pay for solutions. So start a side hustle, buy and sell something. Look at freelance work. Like I said, it's the easiest time in the whole history of mankind to be making money. You could be having a client somewhere in Canada and you working right here in South Africa trying to provide them value. Okay, go to sites like Fiverr, Freelancer, Upwork, register and get some international clients and get some international currency coming in as well. Things like baking. All right, lots of gaps that you need to be looking for. Get rid of excess stuff in the home, stuff that you're not using. They're just piling up in the garage, piling up in a corner of your house somewhere that you're just not using the stuff and holding on to it. Sell it. Get rid of it. All right, so organize some immediate cash flow for yourself using the methods I've suggested. So now that you've got immediate income coming in, you got to work on your money management. Now, making money is pretty easy. Keeping money is hard, especially because you have these invisibles that eat away at your money. Invisibles are things like inflation and taxes. Okay, so you got to manage your money with that in mind as well. Okay, if you have an income and you don't have enough to save and invest, this is probably why. One, you could be living beyond your means. Okay, you're living a lifestyle that your income just can't afford, which means you got to downgrade. Because if you choose not to downgrade, now you're going to have to borrow to fund that lifestyle. And now you're digging yourself into a bigger hole because interest rates are super high. And then while you're in the hole, you want to have a couple of kids. And then when you commit to having a child, planned or unplanned, you've got at least 20 to 25 years of looking after that child. Expenses increase with every child you have. And you have no business making children if you are not self-productive enough to provide yourself with a shelter, food, and healthcare. And too many South Africans are out there making babies and making those babies society's problem, where we have to be taxed higher to feed those babies. Child grants, all kinds of grants coming out in South Africa, and it comes at the expense of the productive of the country. So instead of rewarding the productive, the government chooses to tax the productive. So hear this, right? Births delivered by adolescents between the ages of 10 and 19 in the South African public health facilities rose from 129,223 in 2019 to 139,361 in 2022. Right? There's almost 10,000 babies more. To teenagers and preteens who are not productive themselves, that cannot feed themselves, clothe themselves, provide themselves with shelter, most likely are not have not reached their full educational capacity to be productive for themselves and society. Now, these kids, because they are kids, are having kids that they can't afford, that the taxpayer has to look after. Too many unproductive South Africans are making their problems society's problems, and that's not fair. During the pandemic, I had to go register, do my car licensing. And at that time, I went to a post office that was functional, and we had queues and queues of people because, lockdown and all of that. There were 2 queues, right? One for the grant recipients, patiently waiting, and that was a much longer queue. And there was a much shorter queue, longer than usual, if you're somebody who registers, somebody who has a vehicle and has to go and get this license done. Because you're waiting in the queue so long, I had a chance to people watch. And you notice the queue that I was on was a working class. And a man that works with his hands, he's got this grit and grime and grease along his nails. So many of those people were in the line. Faded black shirts, little holes, trying to get by. And most likely those people that took the day off from wherever it is their work to try and get this thing done, to be compliant to society. Then you had the other queue, 2 or 3 kids for each adult. The sole of the tackies, the white part that will stay fresh as soon as you get it out of the box. Most folks had that on. While my queue, you could see worn down tackies, faded tackies, the brown on the soles of the tackies. For me, it showed me in real life right in front of my face, comparison side by side, how socialism doesn't work. Because literally the money from one queue went to another queue. And the queue that was handing over the money were the struggling queue. And that is not fair. The next thing you got to do is track your income and expenses. Right? You got to be really diligent with this one, because if you want to get your money management right, this is what you got to do. And if you're going to jump into that Money 101 course, all the tools are there for you where you can do your spending analysis. So you got to decide, or you got to backtrack last 3 months. What have you spent on? Where has that money gone? Has it gone on needs and wants? How many percent here? How many percent there? Where am I going to tweak? Am I going to cut down that alcohol budget, that going out budget, that movie budget? Am I going to cut down there to make sure my debt is paid, school fees are paid, medical aid is paid? So that's where the hard work comes in. In fact, we have a long video on that in Money 101 that will take you through the processes with the tools. You don't want to be spending more than 60-70% of your income on needs. If you are, you really want to downsize. You want 20% of that to enjoy the luxuries of life. So 50-60% on your needs, 10 to 20% on your wants, and the balance of that should be going to saving and investing. And the layers of that is, 1, you do your emergency fund first and then you invest. Because while you're out there, you're investing, you lose your income, it's all gone. Maybe now you have to withdraw from your investments at a lower rate. Whereas if you have that emergency fund, you just tap into that emergency fund and you organize yourself again. You also have to be paying down debt extra. We did a video on this. It's called the Debt Snowball and Debt Avalanche. Check the link where you're watching this video. And you can drop those tools for yourself. Or if you're in Money 101, those tools are there for you. And you can decide which one works best for you to pay down a lot of that debt. Because once the debt is gone, then you can really move into wealth building phase. Okay. During this time, you're going to have to make some big decisions here, right? Maybe downgrade your home, your car, your lifestyle in order to get through this difficult period and not give in to instant gratification where you have to have everything all at once and now. Okay, there has to be some give and take. Put yourself in a better position, build some safety nets, and then go into living the lifestyle that you want to live. You got to be willing to make some short-term sacrifices for long-term rewards. Okay? And to make this process work for you, you got to have that mindset shift. It goes into earlier in the video where I said you got to have drive, you got to have ambition, dedication, determination, discipline, and consistency to make this work for you. In anything you want to do, you got to have those things. From your studies to your health to your spiritual life, even your finances. All right, the next thing you got to do here is, 1, you got to invest in yourself. Okay, Money 101 is a great start where I'll give you step by step. I'm doing those training videos, step-by-step guide on how you can be really granular in digging yourself out of the situation. Invest in other courses. Maybe you don't like me the way I teach. Well, even the language that I teach in, find somebody who you can resonate with. Plenty of financial coaches in South Africa that are able to help you. I don't know any personally. Okay, so I'm not going to make any recommendations, but a lot of content out there, a lot of courses out there, a lot of coaches out there that you can seek. So if you want to improve your money game, you have to invest in yourself, because the reason why you're in a bad situation is because you didn't know. And to be a person who knows, you got to invest. You are your greatest investment. And if you're looking for some free content, check out our website, financiallyfabulousfemales.com. Tons of free webinars and tools that you can use as well to get yourself the knowledge you need to improve your financial literacy, to get you out of this financial situation. So essentially, once you've knocked off the debt, once you have a deficit in your income and your spending, all right, and you have that gap, now you are in wealth building phase. You've taken yourself from a place of negative to a place of neutral. And from a place of neutral, then if you need some help, then you'll see somebody like me who's going to start building your wealth when you need a wealth advisor. All right, so that's my turnaround plan for you for this year. It worked for any year, not just 2024. But I wish you well, have a good year, and stay focused. Stay on your money game, work hard at it, and I'll catch you in the next video.